Hello.
Hey. you,
Hey.
you scared me a little bit.
Got you mid-bite?
Yeah, I've been on here for a little while because
Yeah.
not because you were late or anything, just because
Yeah.
Anthony's
Yeah.
in
Okay.
here smoking with me. And
All right.
I was like setting up and stuff. So I had it on for a little while before. And then
Perfect.
I kind of forgot where I was, honestly, because I was just sitting here on
Just
Instagram or
chilling,
something.
taking a
Yes,
little. Yeah.
scrolling, eating.
Well-deserved break. Good job.
How was the cabin?
It was super good. I got to be a waitress this week. It was awesome.
Really? Okay,
Yeah, it
so
was fun.
it's a cabin that people can like book to go stay at, right?
Yeah. So there's a main lodge that has like restaurants and a bar and a coffee shop in it.
Okay.
And then there's like kind of a hotel that has several rooms. And then there's a couple of cabins that are just by themselves.
Okay.
So
Well,
it's
I've been
kind of
thinking about like experiences like that I want to have like with Anthony and the girls. Like
yeah.
we don't do enough things, you know?
Stuff and
Yeah,
things.
stuff and things. So maybe that could be on. I actually want to do like a whole
Yeah,
episode
let's go.
on just like experiences that you've had that maybe I haven't, just start
Sure.
sharing. Because when I was looking online, because I was like looking to get ideas of like experiences that I might want to try, everything's so like big and grand, like go to this country, go to this. And I'm like, all
Yeah,
right, I
right.
totally want to do that. But what
But it's
about for
not a once a
someone
week
who's,
thing.
what if it's for someone who's starting really small?
Yeah.
Like, so
How
maybe
about let's go on a hike?
some of your experiences, like I do want to do a hike where it ends like behind a waterfall. Kind of like, I
Yeah.
think there's one up Payson Canyon Trail, but it's a really teeny waterfall.
The grotto.
Yeah. And I've done that one a few times, but like one that me and Anthony could go to and actually like swim behind.
Yeah.
Maybe we could find a place and that's where me, you and Cody and Anthony can go on a vacation.
That would be awesome.
And we'll take some cool behind like the waterfall videos.
Yeah. Something that's more of like a destination to get to, not just a, hey, this is a pretty hike.
Yeah. Like we went to Puerto Rico. And it was a great vacation, don't get me wrong, because we like basically just went to party. Like we were at the same Mexican restaurant each night having margaritas, but we made friends. We like literally went and hung out with them multiple nights while we were there, went to their hotel room because it was like a group of people in a large suite. Like, it just was such a random fun, like, I don't know, it would be great. But I'm like, next time I go there, I really want to do like the bioluminescent bay and the rainforest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. There's room for both. You can do both.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So.
I don't do either of them anymore, but I'm trying. But
you can dream about it, and that's cool too.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna make it happen.
Okay, I'm in. Let's do it. Yeah. I'm up for doing things.
Okay, well,
or at least saying I'm going to do things.
I'm kind of a doer, so if you say you're in, I'm gonna start planning it. Okay, I'll start
well,
sending you like links and shit, and see if we can find some cool thing. If anybody watches this, Lisa, and can think of a place that we should go, like comment and tell us. And because I'm trying to think of somewhere we could plan to go that would be really like a really cool experience.
It'd be so fun.
Yeah, but maybe
that'd be really fun.
Maybe we could plan to like hit that lodge, because that would be supporting someone who's trying to grow something.
Absolutely, and it's pretty and fun.
Yeah, I don't know when in the world I anticipate being able to afford that, but like,
if you dream it, it will happen, or it will be more likely to happen if you actually, dream about it. It's less likely to just fall into your lap if you don't even, don't even try.
We are working very hard, and we are on a good track for like having things paid off,
kicking butt, taking names.
So then, I feel like it's pretty late to the game, but also pretty par for the course with everybody right now, just because the way
it's all good.
The world is and shiz. But soon, hopefully.
A road trip just got like triple as expensive as anything else.
Everything.
What the heck? That used to be the cheap alternative to the vacation, and now it's like, nah, sorry. I can barely afford to drive to work.
Yeah. I saw a thing about I'm gonna call in out of gas to work. I'm like, that's gonna be a thing. Like,
yeah, no, that really is. Like, sorry. No can do. It's expensive.
Yeah. I mean, but on some level, for certain people, like there are people where that's like a reality, you're going to be a reality because
yeah,
the
you can't make gas and money appear out of thin air. Doesn't happen. So anyway, oh, also, welcome back to the little white picket fence.
Thanks. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, so like the last time we did this, when we already recorded this one once, and it didn't
once
actually
again
record.
Technical difficulties.
I did have a little cannabis. You know, so I was afraid to say it, like, so maybe, I mean, you know,
if people are listening, they know this about you by now, and it's okay.
I know. Maybe the cannabis has made me a little, what do they say? It makes you
a little paranoid.
So maybe I'm like, geez.
The longer I live, the longer I want to surround myself with people who are authentically themselves.
Yes.
Because if you're authentically yourself and it's not something that I can vibe with, then maybe it's okay for us to not be together. You know what I mean? Be around each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it has to be a positive experience for both of you. Like I've definitely had friendships where I think I like continued in it longer than I like really had to, out of like a just and it wasn't that there was something bad, it was just that it was like it was like some, in a way, a chore, because you couldn't be fully who you were because
you're playing a part.
Aspects of you don't jive with them, or as much as you're being yourself, like you just enjoy different things. So you know what I mean?
Yep. And I think by now we'd know if we didn't really vibe with each other.
Yeah. Well, I've been meaning to talk to you about this.
I mean, pretend we're friends for all time, please.
I know, that would kill me.
I don't have that many left. I'm just kidding.
Anyways, okay. So, but I was saying, I got a little intoxicated and I got my snacks and I'm ready to hear your story. But also, because it's been a week, I do have a couple things to like share.
A couple questions, like, and
more like other people's stories.
Oh, cool.
Because I was like, how freaking prevalent is this? That this is happening, and it's pretty prevalent. My friend. There's a lot of TikToks. I was like, oh, I really hadn't thought about this being a thing about the genetic testing. But anyway, so Emily went on you want to tell them about the convention you just did and why we're going to talk about what we're talking about today?
Yep. So about, I want to say 2 years ago, my mom took a 23andMe test, which is a genetic test. You spit in a little tube and send it off, and they say, hey, look, other people have spit in a tube and you're related to them. So, yeah. Anyway,
I need to spit in my tube.
You need to spit in your tube and find out. I did mine too.
I just haven't done the spitting.
It's kind of hard to fill up. I'm not going to lie. Anyway, she did that, and it turns out she had a cousin that she didn't know she had. Like, it tells you how closely related you are, and it says, okay, this person may be as close as a cousin, right?
Yeah.
So she, didn't really think much of it. Just, hey, there's more relatives out there. And this cousin got in touch with my mom, and she said, hey, I don't see where we're related at all. We don't have any common ancestors. Any common family, and I kind of like to figure out how we're related. And so they went back through their family history, and there was nobody there. Like, there's not even a close connection anywhere. And as we've been able to piece together, like, who was where at what time, we figured out that this lady's grandpa was my mom's father, and she didn't know that. So the father that my grandma grew up with her whole life, knowing as her father, was not actually biologically related to her. And the family story that we were always told was my grandma, when she was born, she was super early. She was a medical miracle. For the early 1900s, she was born like 3 to 4 months early, and
Yeah, a lot of people used to have really big babies. Maybe there was a whole lot more of this than we know, because people were having to like rush into things because it was so like, oh my God, you got pregnant out of wedlock. You were going to be like shamed. You had to get married and you had to make it a thing. I mean,
and the stigma was like terrible back then.
Babies did used to be bigger. I think I don't know. I think, at least for me, but I'm a small person. So I'm like, my mom had like 8-9 pound. I think
she had ginormous babies.
Yeah, maybe one almost
especially
10 pound.
And she's like what, 5'1"?
I think she's 5'4".
Yeah,
and my sister Amy, who is like 5'9", 5'10", I want to say. She had an 11 pound 8 ounce baby. And yeah, and then after that, she had twins that were, oh God, I think they were like 7 pounds each.
I would like to take this time to thank my children for not being 11 pounds. Bless you, each and every one.
My kids are each 6 something. And actually they like tested them a little bit, like Haley especially, because they were like, she's full term, but like small for gestational size. And we're like, will you look at Anthony and I? Will you look at us?
We're not having lumberjacks.
He's 5'6". It's just, we're not big people. Okay.
It's all good.
Good. No, but she was perfectly fine. But God.
Okay.
Anyways, back to
story.
Yeah.
Back to story. So here's the rest of the story we pieced together. This lady's grandfather and my great grandmother were in Salt Lake at the same time. My great grandmother was a nurse in Salt Lake City, and he was living there as well. And my great grandmother kept a journal, but this person does not enter in at all. My grandma had been dating someone who had left on a Mormon mission, and he was a missionary, and as far as we knew, she was kind of waiting for him. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she writes him, says, hey, come home. He comes right home. They get married very quickly. They move away, and that's when, a few months later, here comes Miracle Baby that was born super duper early. And because of a few things, like my grandmother's birth certificate saying that she was a full-term baby, and the fact that she always looked a little bit different than her sisters, and just, intuition and a few things, she asked her mom if there's anything she needed to know about her birth. Is there anything I need to know? And her mom would always say no. And even on her deathbed, she said, you know it all. Just don't go poking around. Yeah. So she didn't, which I think I go back and forth a little bit. Like, part of me thinks it's super unfair. She should have known. She should have had the opportunity to know. And the other part of me is like, she had an awesome upbringing with sisters and
your grandma a dad. Had her reason, albeit what we would see as like not a viable reason anymore, because now people are not so judgmental and fucking crazy. I mean, as much. We're still pretty bad, but like the fact
back
that
then it was so
like having a baby out of wedlock was But what's crazy is, because she doesn't ever write about somebody else or anything like that, like that's really out of character. So maybe she did have like a fling or something like that, but it seems
or maybe it was assault even. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that was I was gonna say.
Idea.
It seems more like rape, because what guy, like, think about your relationships. What guy is like gonna come home? And I realized maybe they were different because they were more invested in, like, I think a lot more in like religions and stuff, that where divorce was highly like not. But what's crazy is they weren't even married yet. So they
weren't even married yet.
It's like he was okay with taking on the role of the father no matter what. Like, he didn't hold it against her, which makes me lean more towards like she was like assaulted or something, which is kind of disgusting. That
I've gone back and forth.
Hide it instead of just call people out on their shit.
Yeah. My mind has gone a lot of different places, and I feel like I can't judge because I don't know. And maybe that's a good thing in this scenario, because if I had known that she was like violently assaulted or something, it would be really hard to connect with this side of the family or feel like I would want it. You know what I mean? Like, that would not be something that I'd want to dig up, really.
You really think you would hold that against them, the actions of their ancestor? You know what I mean? It's a common ancestor who did something. But I guess, yeah. It's okay for you to feel that way too. It's not like you have to go find the people.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I have no idea. But here's the cool thing that happened when we found this out and we pieced it together is these people, this family, they look exactly like my mom. And
it's
because I look just like my mom, they look exactly like me.
Yeah.
And a lot of the genetics that they have are very strong genetics. Anyway, I am a lot like their family. And when I found out that that we had new family, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. That's, kind of quirky. Let's go meet them or whatever. But when you see them and there's this strong genetic connection, man, it does something else. You're like, wow.
Will you find out if I can share that photo?
These are my people.
Because people should be able to see, like, oh yeah, I mean, that definitely all looks like family. Like, where do you draw the line? Do you know which one's which? Because they don't know you and your mom. Well, no, they've seen Lisa. She was on here, but still,
Well, I met
they all look
several of them.
They might not be able to figure out.
Yeah. Well, my sister did a little, there was a genetic conference. I don't know if it's a genetic conference, but a conference where they were talking about family history and genetics at Utah State University. And a member of their family, the new family, and my sister got to give a little presentation on what happened and what to do when you find anomalies in your family history and how it can affect people. And even in my family and their family, there were we ran the gamut of different reactions. Some wanted nothing to do with it. Some were super excited. A lot of people were right in the middle. I'm super intrigued. When we went to their house, it was like almost a carbon copy of my parents' house.
Really?
Where they had they had the same decor and the same art on the walls and the same.
I mean, they were similar ages, right?
Kind of.
Yeah. So whoever the father was ended up starting his own family, around the same time. So similar.
They're a super good family and
decorating times.
Well, even more than that, it's super uncanny, and they're super duper musical like my family, and they're interested in a lot of the same things, and it was like, whoa, these are my people, you know what I mean? This is who I come from, and
that's really
I don't know. It was really, really an interesting thing to be a part of.
Yeah.
So
the fact that they were having a conference is what got me looking into YouTube and TikTok and stuff for more stories like this, because I was like, how often is this happening that they have a part of a conference dedicated to it, right?
Oh,
so and
but you're in
you're out there in
Utah, you're in Mormon country and it's huge.
Yeah.
Once you reach a certain age, it's expected that you become an expert in genealogy. I haven't reached that yet.
Well, I think if you're still invested in the church, maybe it is, but I think I appreciate genealogy a lot more now, just for these stories and for us to learn from. And I think I never really saw the value of a journal until this story, and you talking about your journals and how you had journal entries about me, and I'm like, I wish I had that. Although I know you said it's very like a teeny bopper. It's nothing deep, but I bet it's the best. And I wish we could just make it into a movie so me and you could watch it. Because I would die.
Here's the thing. If I could go back, there are so many things I would put more detail into. We were talking about doing a podcast of my journal. We can
embellish on what it was and see how we remember it. You know what I mean? Your memory is, I'm sure, going to spur some memory of mine, and that would just be so fun. That would be so fun to do. We gotta do that.
Yeah, but I'd write well, me and Rachel went disco skating. I was dressed as Marilyn Monroe, and that's all I would write. And then I would go on to describe toast or something. Stop with this stuff and go back to I bet that was pretty funny. Let's go see what that was like. Nope. I glanced over it and I'm like, guess what?
Who knows what I would have wrote? Who knows? I'm sure you wrote a lot about any crushes and things you had, though, right? Or no? Yeah.
There was a lot about boys in there.
Yeah, I think
Though that we will not be doing a podcast about.
Why not? You could do different names.
They would know. They would know.
You think they're watching? You think they're watching? And you give no descriptors. They're the only one that would know. No one else.
I could talk a lot about toast. No, I'm just kidding.
No, that's all right. I won't,
there's some fun stuff. I did go through quite a bit when we talked about, doing that for a podcast, and I got kind of sucked into the black hole of my childhood.
Reading them.
Wow.
I really love just going through old pictures on social media. Mm-hmm. I love going through my own old post, like on TikTok. I will sometimes go back and like just watch my videos of my kids and my dog, like that I find to be so adorable. I'm like, this is like my own little, like, it's my journaling essentially now.
Yeah.
Because I'm keeping track of like what they were doing and, whatever. But I wish I had written stuff down. Maybe I should start. Maybe.
Start. You will not regret it.
Yeah.
Or maybe you will, but then you can just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Dispose of it. No,
I just got super stressed. When the hell am I going to do that? Oh my God, now I have to journal.
When am I going to find the time to journal? I always did it right before bed. So like my handwriting super sucked. And like a lot of the times it would get like really messy at the end and I'd just trail off.
I don't know if I would enjoy it actually. Like in bed, like I need to like just lay down, because if I try to do like a sitting up type project where I'm like relaxing, it hurts my neck. It's like, I don't know if I'm too old for it or what.
Well, there's a reason I haven't written in a long time.
Yeah.
I have not been as good about journaling since I became a mom.
Well, we have this. I think this counts.
Okay, cool.
I feel like this counts.
I can do this. This is video journaling.
Yeah.
Although I can't glue ticket stubs and old Titanic posters in this one.
If I knew how to edit better, I would, like, right there, ticket would pop up. Oh, Titanic poster.
Titanic poster. I did find a couple of cute things though. Do you want to see some?
Yeah.
Okay, so these all have to do with you. Where are they? I found a cute picture of you and my husband. Look how cute you guys are. Do you remember when we used to send each other postcards?
Yes, I still have some cards from you. I know I have them.
Yeah, I have a lot from you. Here's another one. Like monkeys, just not that one. And my personal favorite is the one that says, I think we should go bowling in Canada. That way, when we're old, we can say, remember that time we went bowling in Canada? Which just sounds like us. So
these are the kind of cool things to think anything was funny.
No, it still had substance. You still wrote cool stuff, but I did. Everything was funny, and it still is. I love that part.
Yeah.
Everything is funny.
Okay, so do you want to see some things?
That's what I would do.
Okay, here it is, the first one.
Did anyone else take an ancestry DNA test and accidentally uncover a family? Oh boy, did I. So my whole family decided to do 23andMe, but when we got the results back, we noticed that my mom's siblings weren't showing up as her full siblings, only half, which was pretty weird because my mom is the middle of 5 kids. And to top it off, some lady from across the country emailed my mom saying, hey, we share a dad. How cool is that? We thought this lady was crazy. My mom said there's no way. She's the middle of 5. But we looked this woman up, and she has an uncanny resemblance to my mother. Like, even my mom's most unique
a lot like
features,
your mom.
This woman, her shared.
Yep.
So my mom decides to hear her out and hear a little bit more about the story. And so it turns out my mom's biological dad and my grandmother were high school sweethearts. But my mom wasn't born until 6 years later, and in the middle of a marriage. So,
ooh,
that one seems a little more scandalous.
Did anyone else
but
take an ancestry DNA test and accidentally?
Yeah, it happens a lot.
A lot. All right. I'm just gonna show you the rest of them, I guess, here because I have them. Might as well.
Okay, do it. Let's see.
And actually, I thought this next one was really interesting because it's like, and you'll see it in it, but it's like this girl didn't know that, I don't know why I'm telling you this, but I just want to. This girl didn't know that her grandma had more family, essentially, because her grandma looked white enough that she like broke apart from her Black family because she thought it would give her a better life. And in a way it did, you know, because they do have those luxuries, but they are like realizing they have this connection in this family that they, you know, they never knew that even existed. So they only found it because this genetic testing, which I thought that is so freaking cool. Anyways, she does a lot better job telling her own story, so I should shut up and let her freaking tell it. So here she goes.
Well, let's hear it.
Okay. My grandmother took a secret to her grave, and we just found out what it was. She passed back in 2002, and at the time we thought she was born in 1933. We knew her name. We knew that she was an orphan and she was an only child, that we had no other family connections to her whatsoever, and that her family line lived and died with her. So find me confused when our family gets results back from a 23andMe test telling us that we are African American when my grandmother said that we were English. And I know looking at me, you're going to be very confused, because I am too. And currently my family is still figuring out all the details, so I don't have all the information. 23andMe matched my family up with a family in Virginia, which isn't too strange because my grandmother and my grandfather both met in Maryland and got married and ended up moving across the country. So when this family starts pulling out pictures of my grandmother and her 15 siblings, safe to say we were a little shocked. It turns out that Millicent Vaughn was born Mammy Vaughn back in 1927, not 33. She was born to a family of 15 children, all African American, living in Virginia. While her parents did die when she was young, she was not an orphan and an only child like she said she was. She had people taking care of her, and she had a whole family. It turns out that she had decided to run away from her family and completely exorcise herself from her identity. She picked up a new name, she picked up a new race, and she completely erased who she was. So now I have a whole new family, and it's surreal and it's strange, and there's this me that doesn't really know who I am. And I think what surprises me the most is the fact that her story is not uncommon for the US at that time. Because she was white passing, she chose to completely reinvent herself and go by a completely different name and racial identity just to create a better life for herself. And while I'm incredibly grateful for the privilege that her decision provided for me, I'm also incredibly sad and confused and excited because I have a whole new family that I didn't know that I had. We're still uncovering details and we're still learning so much, but sharing her story, I'm hopeful will bring other people to find out about their families and maybe uncover similar stories. No one should ever have to feel the need to completely change their identity and step away from their race and their entire family just to find a better life. That is heartbreaking and that is so sad, and that was so common at the time. I'm heartbroken for my grandmother since she never got to actually live her life as herself, but I'm so excited as for what this means for my family moving forward. As for anyone with similar stories, I would love to hear what you've experienced, because this is just the beginning for me and I just thought I'd share.
So she like that has like 17 something thousand comments on it. So I'm wondering if some of those are actually other people's stories too. Like,
oh, absolutely.
Holy
absolutely
cow, there's so many. Like, I did not even realize this was a thing. And I haven't done my ancestry thing yet. So now I'm like, I got to do this.
You never know.
You know, and I found out.
Never know. I wouldn't have guessed.
Yeah, I found out recently actually that I know somebody else, a sister-in-law, who she's not an only child, but her younger, or no, it was older. I think it was younger brother. Her younger brother unfortunately died from like a horrible disease when he was younger. And so her mom was, you know, very protective. They were very close, and she was like an only child, and just found out that actually before her dad, who has since passed away and doesn't know about it, fathered a child with someone else and never knew about it.
Oh, really?
So now she just found a half sister. Yeah, they haven't met yet, but they've like started communicating. And I was like, wow, like it's like you hear crazy. One story and all of a sudden it's like a flood.
They all come out of the woodwork.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Before we go on, one thing that a couple of things that I've thought of.
Okay.
One, my grandma grew up with all sisters. And in this family she didn't know she had 2 half brothers. And I think she would have loved to meet these half brothers. She would have loved to have brothers. And those 2 brothers would have loved to have a sister. You know, they would have, even if they had just found out 10 years ago, you know, they could have had some kind of relationship and enjoyed each other's company a little bit. And the other thing that I think of is, even for back then, my great grandma was a nurse, and she wasn't just a nurse, she was like a head nurse. She kicked butt. She knew what she was doing. She could have easily had an abortion, or, you know, put my grandma up for adoption, or a plethora of things. And how grateful I am.
But she had an option. She had an option to be able to get married and raise the baby without public shame.
Yeah. So how kick butt is my great grandma and my great grandpa, both of them, in this impossible situation, and they made the best of it as they could. So
exactly. And how do you, and when do you tell a child, like, and I guess, and then as you get older, maybe you realize they need that to know who they are, because they do feel different, and that would give them that, like, this is why I'm different. You know what I mean? Have you ever seen, and I find it really interesting, like on TikTok, the different stories from people who have been adopted, or, you know, parents should have aborted them type things, and how they're like, a lot of them, and I can't speak for all of them, because there's probably a lot of people that ended up with really great families and great situations who are happy with it, but the ones that didn't are like I wish I had been aborted, like, because my life is not what I would have chosen, and nobody gets to choose to be here. So if you can't provide a life for that, you really shouldn't bring them here. And we need to think about it more, like, what can we care for versus like how many, you know, getting every single, like, if you really want them here, then you really have to provide a way, which is everybody's basic needs being met. Okay, so I think that I probably have to like stop and then restart the video, because we don't pay for Zoom. And no, that's okay. It's because we don't pay for Zoom, and it's like it doesn't give us tons of time. Like, so I'm gonna stop, and then we'll start again, and then I'll show you this last video, and then we'll, you know, see where we go.
Okay, cool.
Okay, love you.
I'll wait for the email.
Okay, guys, Emily and I are technically challenged, and we didn't end up recording the end of this video, even though we did the end of the video, because I'm not very good at this. So if you made it to this point, thank you for watching. That's, you know, we don't kind of touch base, I think, on most of the story, but I'll let her watch and then add what she wants next week if it needs to be there. Okay, bye.